Namaste friends, I'm Jayalakshmi Ravichandran signing in on behalf of Creative Crochet Folks India. Okay, today I've come here with the floral motif for the floral bag. This is the main part. 18 pieces of such motifs have to be made. The others are lesser in number. The others are very easy to make. This is a little tricky to make. And we're going to use two colors. It's up to you to use more colors, but I'm going to make and show you with two colors. To begin with, make a magic circle, holding the yarn like this from underneath. Pick up the other yarn and make a loop and tighten it. Okay, having done this, holding the yarn, I usually start with my standing double crochet, else you can make 2 chains to do the first 2DC cluster. So but I am going to start with the standing DC, so I'll just pull it up a little bit, twist, go inside, pick up yarn and pull through 2. I have not completed this DC. Yarn over, another incomplete DC and you will have 3 loops on the hook. Pull through all the 3. If you make with chain 2, you'll have only 2 loops on the first 2 DC together. Okay, then chain 2, yarn over, 1 incomplete DC. So if I yarn over and pull through again, it will become complete DC. Otherwise now it is incomplete DC. Yarn over, another incomplete DC, yarn over, pull through all the 3. Again chain 2. We have made 2 chains. Now make the third DC cluster. First incomplete DC, second incomplete DC, yarn over, pull through all the 3. Chain 2, another 2 DC cluster, chain 2, another 2 DC cluster. Like this you have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to make 3 more 2 DC clusters with chain 2 spaces in between them. So I will meet you at the end of this round. So I have made the last 2 DC cluster, that is the 8th one. Now I will chain 2 and I need to join here with a slip stitch. While joining here with a slip stitch, I am going to change my color. I will be changing my color to the second color here. And tie it up, like lock it and pull nicely so that the other color is not seen. Now what we have to do here is, we have 8 2 DC clusters together. So in 4 of them we are going to make front post DC, and in between 2 DCs we are going 2 DC clusters we are going to make 3 DCs. That is, in chain 2 space we are going to make 3 DCs. So now I always begin with a standing DC. I am going to begin with a standing front post DC here. So I am going to make a front post DC. It should come behind this, sorry. Otherwise we can end with a front post DC, that doesn't make any difference for this pattern. So what I will do is, I'll slip stitch into this chain space and make 3 DCs. But remember to end with front post DC. And then front post DC on this cluster. So at the end of this round, you're going to have 3 DCs in each of 2 chain spaces. That is 8 sets of 2 chain spaces we have. So 8 into 3, 24 DCs and 8 front post DCs. That makes 32. Oh, this happens. In crochet, count is very, very important. So your maths plays an important role in your crochet work. So this is how this is forming. I will meet you at this particular point, finishing with a front post DC on this 2 DC cluster. I have come to the end of this round. I have finished off with 1 front post DC on this particular 2 DC cluster. So let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 sets of 3 DCs in the chains 2 spaces. Yeah, it's always best to check. Now again we're going to change color for the 3rd round. So into the first DC here, I'm going to insert my hook and pick up my next color from behind. In this 3rd round, we are going to work both on these stitches done in the 2nd round as well as on the stitches of 1st round. So what we are going to do now is chain 1 first, and then we are going to place on top of this front post double crochet 3 DC cluster, that is 3 incomplete DCs. This is the first 3 DC cluster on top of this front post double crochet of 2nd round. Chain 3, another set of 3 DC cluster, chain 3, another set of 3 DC cluster. We are working all in the same stitch, so that is very, very important. Now is the trick that is coming. What we do is chain 1. we are not going to do anything on this particular 2 DC cluster. Yarn over twice. We are going to make a front post treble crochet underneath this on this 2 DC cluster. We are doing the treble crochet to make the height even. If you're comfortable, you can do even the long long double crochet or extended double crochet, that is extended front post double crochet. Okay, we have done this. Now yarn chain 1. Again we are going to place the floret stitch on top of this particular front post double crochet from 2nd round. So yarn over, incomplete DC, incomplete DC, incomplete DC, yarn over, pull through all the 3. Chain 3. So you're going to have 4 sets of florets and 4 sets of 4 front post treble crochet worked on the first front post treble crochet worked around the 2DC cluster of the first round. Chain 3, one, second incomplete, third incomplete, yarn over, pull through all the 3, then chain 1, yarn over twice. You're making a front post treble crochet on this stitch. Chain 1, again place the floret here, chain 3, chain 3 again, to make the floret stitch we are placing 3 DC clusters together. Okay, chain 1, yarn over twice. This is the third front post treble crochet we are doing. So don't make it very tight, no, don't make it very loose. Chain 1, and in the subsequent round we are going to pop out the flowers. Chain 1, yarn over twice, so we have completed here. So we have already made a chain 1 here too. We began with a chain 1 here, and so we are going to slip stitch inside that chain 1 and pick up the next color, that is the color B. So at the end of this round we are having 4 florets, 1 2 3 4, and 4 front post treble crochet worked on top of the stitches from the first round. This is very important. Okay, yeah, in the 4th round we are going to make SCs, front post SC and DCs. So okay, and DC, 3 DCs also on one particular stitch we are going to make. To begin with, how it is done I'll tell you first. So on these 3 DC cluster we are going to make 1 front post SC, and in this chain 3 places we are going to make 3 SCs, and then on this again front post SC, 3 SC, front post SC, and when we come here we are going to make 2 DCs, that is the DC is worked on this stitch and this stitch from second round, from round 2, and then we are going to place 3 DCs on top of this treble, front post treble. Okay, 1 2 DC here, 3 DCs here, again 1 and 2 DCs, 1 on each of these 2 DCs, 1 DC here, again front post SC around this, and continue in the round. So now watch out. So I'm going to begin with the front post SC here. So I made one front post SC and I'll end with 2 DCs here, right? And then 3 SCs, 1 2 3 SCs, front post SC, 1 2 3. This count is very, very important for the 5th round. Okay, and now we're going to make the first DC, and we will be locking this place also, this space too. So 1 DC, the second DC, and now we are going to place 3 DCs on this stitch. 1 2 and 3, and again 1 and 2. So this completes our first set of stitches. So 3 front post SC, 3 SCs here, front post SC, 3 SCs, front post SC, 2 DC, 1 on each of the DCs from the second round, 3 DCs on top of the front post treble from third round, 2 DCs again here. So there should be 7 DCs here, fine. And now again front post SC, 1 2 3, front post SC, 3 SCs in the space, 1 2 3 SCs here, front post SC here, this happens. And now we are going to place a DC on this. First DC, second DC, 3 DCs here, 1 2 and 3. Then one more DC on top of this, one more DC on top of the next DC from round 3. So we are having 7 DC set here, 7 DC set here, and here all SCs. On the florets we are having SCs, and this is how the flower pops out. I'll finish the next 2 and come back to you. I've placed my last DC here. Let me check if I have all 7s. Yeah, 7 7 7 7. That's fine. Now is the time to change color. So what I'm going to do is the very first SC here, I'm going to insert my hook and change back to color A. Having changed back, and pull this, chain 1 and place an SC here, yarn over twice and place a front post double crochet here. 1 minute. And then 1 SC in the next stitch, 1 SC in the next stitch, 1 SC in the next stitch, and on top of the front post SC, make one SC, one front post DC on top of this middle DC cluster, and one SC in the same stitch here. Then place one SC on each of the next stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, next 4 stitches, yarn over twice, make front post treble on under the front post treble of round number 3, and then place 3 SCs, 1 SC each on each of the DCs, 1, 2, 3 SCs here, and then in the middle DC you are going to place 3 SCs all in the same stitch. So having placed 3 SCs here in the middle DC, place one SC on each of the next 3 DCs, and then place an SC on the next SC, yarn over twice, do front post treble. So you're going to have front post treble from this side and one front post treble from the other side, so that it forms a small diamond here. And then one SC, next 3 stitches we place the SC, so including this is 4, one SC on top of this C here, one front post double crochet underneath this, then one SC in each of the next few stitches, 1, 2, 3 and next 4th one, yarn over twice, front post treble, then pick up make an SC here, 1, 2, 3, one SC on each of next 3 DCs, then 3 SCs in the same stitch here in the center DC, then 1, 2, 3 SC here, and then make an SC over here, the beginning SC of the on the floret, yarn over twice, make the treble. So this is how you have to work all around, placing SCs on each of the 2 DCs on either side of the middle DC here, and in the middle DC here you have to place 3 SCs, and here on the floret you have to place 1 SC, 1 front post double crochet on the middle cluster, DC cluster, then 1 SC on the same front post SC of the previous round, and then 1 SC on each of the next 3 SCs and 4 SCs, and then again you do the front post treble crochet and continue all through the round. I will meet you at this particular point. I have come to the end of this round, and here I need to do slip stitch here. Instead of going from the front, what I am going to do is I am going to remove my hook from back of this stitch. I am going to insert my hook and pull up this. Pull it out, and then I'll use a thinner hook here and pull it out from here, and thereafter it will look like a stitch here. I'll hide the yarns at the back. So this is how we make the motif for the floral motif for the bag. Hope you enjoyed this video and it has been helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell button, because any new video that I upload, it will come to you as the notification. Thank you, friends.